Here we go, it's the GTN Show. Welcome. I think it's fair to say that we are all missing normality right now, and I bet there's a huge amount of you guys who are missing racing. But what exactly is it about racing that you're missing? Well, Mark and I are going to be reminiscing a little bit and sharing our thoughts on what it is we're missing.
Yeah, talking of which, we've got some news from some recent races, some upcoming events, and an update on an around the world triathlon attempt. Plus, the one and only Tom Pidcock, the Ineos pro cyclist, running a rather tasty 5K time.
We feel your frustration, and we are 100% with you guys because we are missing racing just as much. And it's been interesting to see quite a few comments over the last few months, especially when it comes to caption suggestions. Lots of you even suggesting some fear about returning to racing and just some of that stuff that you long for. And it just got us thinking about, like, what exactly are those bits that we miss? And Mark thought I'd just let you start us off. What do you miss?
And I think this is an interesting topic. Before I go into those things that I miss, actually, last year, obviously COVID put a stop to all the racing, and whilst that was sad and a shame, I think a lot of us, and well, myself, actually kind of embraced it. I was like, oh, this is really exciting actually, I don't have to race for once and I do all these other things. But now going into another year, I'm like, no, I really want to race now, just let me race. And actually, like, I miss having those goals. I miss feeling fast and like that excitement of the speed and how good you feel. But one thing that probably does shock me is I miss that anxiety and the nervousness standing on the start line, which normally I hate. And often when I'm stood on the start line, I'm going, oh, I hate this sport, why am I doing this? But actually, I really miss it. I miss that feeling.
I think there's so many people that can be reassured that you have those emotions at the start of a race, because I know that there's a lot of other
I've actually
people
spoken about this to a lot of pro athletes, and pretty much all of them say, yeah, I stand at the start line and I always go, why do I do this sport? I don't even enjoy this right now. What am I doing? But then you love it 2 seconds later once you're actually
Or maybe once you've finished.
Yeah, maybe.
Depends how the race has gone.
How about yourself?
It's definitely relating to all the things that you said, and I actually miss, probably because I race in a different way to you, and like having not been a pro, but I miss the social aspect and the parties afterwards, and just that feel-good feeling that you have for a few days of just satisfaction that you've done a race and you know you don't have to train hard because you've earned your rest properly. And you're kind of just walking around on a little bit of like a cloud nine, aren't you? On the whole, as long as the race has gone okay. And there's that, just all those things that you sort of maybe put on hold for a little bit, you appreciate more afterwards. And I think a lot of what we're talking about is just, it's appreciating the things you don't have, and now we don't have it. There's more that we'll appreciate about racing, if that makes sense.
100%, and that probably leads us on to the things that you miss, because I feel like that list, the things that you don't miss about racing, because I feel like that list is getting smaller and smaller for me as the time goes on. So go on, anything that you don't miss about racing.
I did write a few sort of things just to remind me, because I forgot. I don't miss nerves. I know you've just said that maybe you even miss them, but I haven't got to that phase yet. There's a couple that I hate: packing, especially if it's not a local race.
No, I know Heather too well. I know.
I just can't bear like remembering everything for triathlons. That's why I love running races, just your shoes. But like trying to put your bike in a box and then remember you've got all the bits that you've taken off, and then I actually before a race I end up having nightmares about getting to like the airport, like genuine, as in a sleep nightmares of arriving without half my kit and stuff like that. So that I don't miss. Race nutrition, gels are my favourite food. So and having all my toenails is quite nice at the moment. Well, most of them. What about you? Are there any more?
I'm probably with you on the packing, but more just the bike side of things, like a TT bike. Oh my goodness, if you're traveling abroad with them, they can be a nightmare, and it feels like every time you dismantle them, you feel like you're taking years off their life each time. And then also,
first world problems these, aren't they?
and then the other one, which might sound odd, is actually, I guess it depends on how much you're focused on a race, is the sacrifices you make for it. And whilst you're in the midst of it, it's like it means so much to you. Actually, right now I'm kind of enjoying not having to do that all the time and almost being so self-obsessed about this individual race. It's quite nice not to do that for once.
Well, I think it just shows that we're going to appreciate all those smaller things that we used to moan about. We promise, I think we promise not to moan about packing our bikes the next time we go to race, at least for the first race anyway. But we'd love to know what it is that you guys miss. Give us specific things and you can share those in the comments section below.
Right then, last week we announced a very exciting release coming from GTN. It's the GTN Plus app, where you can see full feature-length films, documentaries, shows, and adventure films, plus the already existing race pass with live racing, highlights, and analysis. Now, we mentioned last week that if you enjoyed the Norseman film over on GTN, which has been really popular, well, we've got a full feature-length version of that coming on the GTN Plus app, and that is a totally different style, story, and format to the existing one. So stay tuned, because we've actually got a teaser for you right now.
This is not for you. This is for people with fight, resilience, and minds tougher than their bodies. All they care about is besting themselves. They're in pursuit of something bigger.
When you say Norseman in Norway, everyone knows what it is.
I think you have to be wired a bit differently to enter events like this. The masochist in me has definitely come out.
10 or 12 years ago, if you had said Norseman, I would just shake my head and say, are you crazy?
I wanted to do the impossible challenge, and that was finishing the world's toughest triathlon.
It's a 3.8 kilometer swim. Then it's a 180 kilometer bike segment, and the marathon run, 42.2 kilometers.
You have 3 major climbs.
As a massive mountain in front of you, that can be quite devastating.
You are crossing through 4 climate zones. On a bad day, you get a headwind, fog, close to freezing temperatures. This is an inner journey.
Oh man, it's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna be a shutdown in my whole body.
I can't quit. I'm gonna get to that finish line no matter what.
I think I was gonna collapse.
Well, if that got your taste buds going and you like the look of it, there is plenty more on the channel. We've been lucky enough to have a sneak preview of some of the documentaries, and I literally have a list of things I want to watch. It's awesome. But there's an amazing offer open at the moment until the end of February for you guys to get hold of this pass for half price. So it's just £19.99 in the UK, €19.99 euros, or in the USA it's $24.99 in dollars. And it all launches on the 15th of Feb. So I'd suggest getting in there.
Now, moving on, after a lot of build-up to the Collins Cup, it has been postponed yet once again. It was originally planned for 2019. It was pushed back to 2020, not knowing obviously that there was a global pandemic on the horizon. Then pushed to the spring of this year, but it's been rescheduled once again for the summer of this year to August the 28th. Now, to recap you a little bit on what the Collins Cup is, it is the brainchild of the PTO. It's essentially based upon the likes of the Ryder Cup, where we've got Europe, USA and internationals competing against each other, 3 men's and women's teams over a non-drafting middle distance format, and it's planned to take place in St Marin. So fingers crossed it does take place this summer.
Well, thankfully though, we do have an event to look forward to that is, fingers crossed, happening before then. Super League Triathlon have just announced their next version of the Arena Games that's going to be held in London. It's going to be at the London Aquatic Centre in the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park, due for the 27th of March, which is ambitiously soon, isn't it? Yeah, well, this is a very exciting format, and it is just for the pro athletes, so they can probably put them in a bubble first, and it's all going to be in that one area. So they'll swim. So it's a mixture of real life and virtual racing. So they're swimming in the pool. The swim distance is 200 meters, and then they are doing the cycling on turbos and the running on treadmills, and that's all part of the virtual reality world of Zwift. And if you guys saw the Rotterdam racing, which is the first version they had last year, it was seriously exciting to watch, like super fast. We've already got the likes of Georgia Taylor-Brown, Johnny Brownlee, Alex Yee, who've all signed up, and I think there's going to be quite a few more big names.
Yeah, and with it being relatively close to us, hopefully we might get a little invite and go and watch it and showcase it for you guys.
Well, I would put that in your diary if you're excited to watch some racing soon. just before Christmas, you might remember us giving you an update on the Around the World Triathlon record attempt by Jonas Dreichmann from Germany. Well, he had just got another world record within that, having completed 450 kilometres of swimming for having the longest unsupported swim. Well, before that, he had already cycled. He started his journey in his hometown of Munich in Germany. He'd cycled down the Croatian coast before then swimming that Adriatic coast. At the end of reaching Dubrovnik, he got back onto his bike and he was heading east in the hope to make it to the Pacific coast by spring. That sadly hasn't quite happened. I know we're not quite in spring yet, but he got as far as Istanbul in Turkey by mid-December, and then thanks to COVID, there's been quite a few land restrictions on travel, and yeah, he's had to halt his progress there. Although there is some good news, because the German Triathlon Federation, the Russian-German Forum, and the Russian Olympic Federation have all worked together and have actually managed to secure him a Russian visa that's going to get him across to Russia and hopefully moving again. So in the next few days, we should see him back on track.
Oh, it's good to see the community all coming together to help support him on that. Well, moving on, and we had some excitement over the weekend. Now, we're used to keeping our ears to the ground for any fast running and splits from the pros, but admittedly, we're normally looking to the top level runners and triathletes for this. So when we saw pro cyclist Tom Pidcock posting a staggering 5k time that was just 5 seconds off the current British record, I've got to say we were a little bit taken back. Now, yeah, he posted a time of 13 minutes and 25 seconds during the course of a 40-minute training run. And this is what he had to say. This morning, I went out to try and break the 15-minute 5k mark, which is pretty ambitious.
Yeah, just casually.
I did a 13:25. Apparently, this is very quick. I think I'm going to try again in a few days to try and validate this. Maybe running is a sport for me. Now, there's no denying Pidcock is a very impressive and versatile athlete. I mean, he's dominating at cyclocross, mountain biking, road cycling. He's got numerous European and world titles behind him, including even an e-mountain bike world title. And of course, with cyclocross, you do have to run, and so he isn't shy of running like some cyclists. But I've got to admit, I think there's some Garmin gremlins going on here.
It's going to be interesting to see if he gets really disappointed with his next time. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be still really fast, but
I'm sure it is going to be.
Maybe not quite that fast.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain, I think most of the world out there, fairly certain it's not a 13:25. I'm very sorry to say, but we are very excited to see what's in store.
All right, Mark, I've actually want to add this next one in because I've had a message about this sort of startup from a group of students who have a passion for triathlon and are based over in Cardiff in Wales. And I just really like what they're doing. They've seen a sort of frustration, I think, in triathlon that it can sometimes be quite exclusive. We talk about it being expensive as it is, and they say they're fortunate enough to be able to afford entry fees, just about afford pairs of shoes, and want to open it up to more people to have this ability to do our great sport. So they've kind of got two sides to their sort of business idea. They're called Copa Triathlon, and they're making products that are sustainable. It's t-shirts, bags, and sort of triathlon wear and casual wear as well. And with the profits from that, they are then putting that back into the community. So they want to give children who maybe wouldn't get the chance to try a triathlon in normal circumstances those opportunities. They're helping to sort of educate and coach other staff that can get involved. They've got support from Welsh Triathlon. So they are like 100% sort of dedicated to helping the environment and helping, open up our sport, which is brilliant. And I just want to read a couple of bits here. So their tagline is, we're aiming to help level up access to the sport that we love. The money raised goes to the Grassroots Triathlon Project. And they say of their products, they're all sustainable, made from certified organic cotton, powered by renewable energy and made on demand, which sounds cool. And they're all shipped in plastic-free packaging. But this bit is interesting. They are circular, meaning products are designed from the start to be remade, which means materials flow back to the maker and the new product is made from the old product. So it's not like just recycling when it sort of maybe gets broken down or whatever. It's a circular economy is infinite because it says the design, the material flows in a loop. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, and they're obviously super young, super excited about triathlon, and I just think it's a really nice story.
Oh, awesome! I've got to go and check that out after
I know.
this.
I've had a good look at their website. Some nice stuff on there.
Awesome. Well, finally from us on the news, we've actually got an exciting bit to announce from GTN, because we've got a new nutrition partner, and that is Newzest, which you'll probably remember from my half marathon every day video. Hopefully they're not expecting me to do something even crazier like a marathon every day for a month.
Oh, you just mention it.
Yeah. Oh God, I sowed that seed. But yeah, I mean, Newzest produce a vitality drink called Good Green Stuff, and also a protein drink there, Clean Lean Protein, which, I mean, I've always used protein mixes throughout my career. I find just doing multiple sessions per day just helps with the recovery, but particularly for a lot of you guys out there probably juggling a couple of sessions per day in and around busy life schedules, I fully recommend it personally. But yeah, we are partnering with Newzest because we like the products. It's all plant-based, and yeah, we've got some exciting projects in store.
Very exciting. Race news, we've got two versions this week. We've got some real racing and some virtual. So first up with the real racing, no surprises, it's down under in Australia. It was the hell of the West Triathlon, which is a 2K swim, an 80K bike and a 20K run. So kind of like a condensed half Ironman distance. And on the women's field, I think Ellie Salthouse had a bit of a mission to sort of something to prove. She was out from the start and she led from the swim and ended up taking the win. There was a pretty strong field. Amelia Watkinson was in there who just didn't close, not even on the run. So Ellie Salthouse took the overall win. Amelia Watkinson was 5 minutes behind at the finish, and then it was Kylie Simpson in third. On the men's race, it was also a pretty strong field, and they stuck together until the final run. It was Steve McKenna who managed to outrun Simon Hearn for first and then second, and Tim Reed a little bit further back in third. But I think they're all gearing up because there's 70.3 Geelong in just a couple of weeks. I think that's kind of a bit of a warm-up race.
I've got to say that's a dominating performance from Ellie Salthouse.
Yeah, it was.
Wow, and I've got to say I might actually start following a lot of my Australian, New Zealand friends because I've had enough of them doing all this racing.
Oh, I know, it's kind of inspiring but frustrating, isn't it?
But anyway, back to the virtual racing, as many of us are having to settle with. And last week we mentioned about the new Z Pro Tri Series, which is actually over a duathlon format. So they go individual time trial into a run leg with a short gap and then another short gap, and into a points race. Now on the men's race, it was a exciting and dominating performance from Anthony Costas, no surprise there, but we had Adam Bowden coming up closely in second. On the women's side, it was Lucy Charles Barkley who dominated that individual time trial, but really exciting to see Beth Potter debuting in the Z Pro Tri Series there. On to run though, this was kind of interesting and odd. They basically had time ranges that they needed to be within. Essentially, if they were in that time range, just creeping in, no need to push any harder because they would get the points for that range. So we saw a really interesting dynamic. Didn't hold Matt Hansen back. He absolutely smashed that, as did Melanie Mora. And then it went into the final points race on the Crit City course, and it was James Cunnemart took the win there, and then Lucy Charles Barkley, and that left the overall points with Jackson Laundry taking the win, and no surprises, Lucy Charles Barkley. But interestingly, Anthony Costas and James Cunnemart finished 4th and 5th, despite not actually being able to make it to the run. Oh. So it's just technical issues, probably teething issues with that first round of it, with the quick changes, but very impressive.
If they get their run sort of, I say sorted, not their physical run, but their technical run sorted, I think they'll be up there, won't they, next week? Well, exciting stuff. And if that's inspired you, there's some great news, because Zwift are actually getting the community involved, and it's a chance for you guys to actually do your own duathlon on Zwift. It's starting on the 17th of February, so next week, and it follows a slightly different format. So it is a bike, then a run, that's all. And the bike is as far as you can go in 35 minutes, which is it's a bit different, isn't it? Yeah, and cool. It's a mass start, so you all ride together, but it's non-drafting, so you can still be on your TT bike. You then get a 10-minute rest, and then you get to run, I think it's 15 minutes. As far as you can. So it's kind of a hard one to pace because it's not something you don't know what your target is, do you, with that?
That's really cool. Yeah, I like that.
But it's a 6-week series, and yeah, it starts next week, so get involved.
Okay, now moving on to one of my favourite parts of the show, looking through all the photos and videos that you guys send in to us. But this week, it's a little bit different because you may remember last week we were celebrating passing the 500,000 subscriber mark, and we presented you with a challenge to accumulate over 500 metres of elevation during a cycle or a run. Now, we didn't actually suggest any other activities, but yeah, we'll get on to that in a second. Now, first one we have here is from Hawan, and that's from Montmorency Forest in France, which I've never actually heard of, but it sounds really nice.
It does, but then you look at the photos and it looks a little bit like the UK.
Yeah, true. He said he went out for a long run and decided to do the GTN 500 challenge. The conditions were super muddy. Yeah, they were. So I was a lot slower than I hoped. So he covered just over 16 kilometers in just over 2 hours, but covered over 500 meters of elevation, 501 to be precise. But yeah, it does look very muddy there.
Yeah, that's good going, and that amount of mud and that amount of climbing. I'm impressed. Well done. But our next one comes from Argo in Estonia. And he says it's winter in Estonia, lots of snow, temperature about -10. So we've got to stop complaining here, haven't we? Some coronavirus-related restrictions for swimming pools. I think, yeah, we're all in the same boat. At the moment, I'm not doing any triathlon-related training. Mainly, though, cross-country skiing. We like it. Like the thinking outside the box here. Today, I went for a bit of a longer, hillier session. And as hilly as a relatively flat Estonia can offer, and accidentally managed to get about 500 meters of elevation unintentionally. Wow, I like the fact you've shared it. It says, a nice chance to take part in our challenge. No, it's not biking or running, but I don't care. We don't care either. It's great, isn't it? And yeah, let's have a look at the stats. Oh my goodness, 497 meters. Do we can round that
elevation loss of 514, and going by Tom Pidcock's inaccuracy of his Garmin, let's just say it was over 500.
And he started and finished in the same place, so it must be right, mustn't it?
Yeah. Well, next one in from Adam, and this is a similar one. It's Czech Republic, and he said, because swimming pools are closed here in the Czech Republic, we have about 100 centimeters of snow, so cross-country skiing is the only way to improve upper body strength and stay in shape for swimming. Also, running and cycling is pretty hard in -10 degrees Celsius, so I have to train indoors. And I've got to say, I think -10 degrees Celsius in the Czech Republic, because it's quite a wet kind of atmosphere, I think that's probably very, very cold, feels extremely cold. But yeah, he posted just shy of 50 kilometers cross-country skiing with over 1,000 meters of elevation.
Smashed it.
Yeah. Absolutely awesome.
Awesome. Well, our final one is back on the bike, actually, and it's Matan Duveen who's shared this one. He's managed 733 meters. All of that was from the comfort of Matan's home, but I know on Zwift that climbing that much isn't particularly comfortable, is it? He managed it over 45k on the bike, 2 hours and 17 of effort. So thanks for sharing the celebration with us.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. And thanks ever so much to everyone who got involved in our challenge. And don't forget to keep sending in your photos and videos of you training, your pain cave, whatever you like, using the photo uploader that's on screen right now or in the description just down below.
All right, on to Caption competition now, and we had this picture of the seal lying sort of on the deck at the start of a race, and some rather wonderful suggestions. To start us off, we have this one from the Strive 285. That new swimming gear gets a real seal of approval. There are a few like that.
Nice. Ismail Thomas Cecilio said, my reaction when the officials told me I can't use any of my fins. Now what? With a snail emoji.
I do like that one. Now we have Robert Nastasi, who says, I hope you've got a good seal on those goggles. I should have brought the Magic 5 goggles. I like it. A nice plug for our new brand. Thank you there.
Tommy Blake, first race back with the lockdown pounds be like?
Yeah, I think there's a few going to relate to that one, aren't there? But the winner this week is Parker Keith with this, Parker Kurth with this caption, wow, these tri-suits are taking sealskin technology to a new level.
Well, I think this race is actually Cape Town, and knowing how cold the water is there, you probably would want that sealskin technology.
You probably would. Well, congratulations. Make sure you get in touch so we can send you out a GTN cap.
Yeah, now for this week's Caption comp photo, and it's actually from the Asiago ITU Winter Triathlon World Championships from last year, obviously. And here it is. So yeah, get involved, leave your captions in the comments section down below. But that is it for the show this week, but we have plenty coming up. We've got Superbike versus second-hand cheap bike, and FTP test versus ramp test, which we put a lot of hard work into. Yeah. And we'd be very interested to see what your reaction is to the tests.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those. I'm glad the hard work is over for sure. Before we go, if you guys are looking for something to sort of perk you up or a little bit of online shopping, we have some wonderful t-shirts, which I must admit, we don't get to sort of show off very often because it's cold in the UK at the moment. But if you're somewhere hot, then do check out the GTN shop, because we've got some lovely swim bike run ones, which are quite new, just haven't really worn them yet.
I've got a good idea here. Maybe for your loved one for Valentine's Day, you might want to get them a GTN top.
Such a romantic.
I know.
Well, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Give us a like. Remember, you can just click that globe that's on screen now to subscribe. And a couple of videos you might want to take a look at now. One is sort of questioning, why does running slow feel hard?
Which is an odd question, I know, but
yeah, watch
seems
this
that
video.
a lot of you have been wondering that question.
Yeah, watch this video to find out. And also, Mark has been coaching GTN's Dan Lloyd to his first half marathon, so check that out too.